There's one stock that is about to skyrocket. It is an unmanned aerial vehicle, unmanned aerial system company, and they recently, within the last week, had a nearly $100 million deal with the US Army. So it's the right time to take a look at this stock. Even without that deal, the chart was already looking interesting. So when you get a technical factor combined with a fundamental reason to buy at a time when it's not easy to buy stocks, it's the middle of earnings season. I'm not one to gamble on what earnings are going to be. I don't have the credit card data. I don't even have the like checkout data that you can buy online for some of these companies that process payments online. I'm just working off of ChatGPT and a little bit of dilution information and the chart. So let's jump into what that means. This is not financial advice, but I think this ticker, it's AVAV, is ready to go.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
So this is the chart, and you can see how good it looks just within the past week, and how clearly you can have a level here where it's had some big moves up, right? But let's say that this is where we're at right here. You know, you just can't buy that. You don't know, maybe you're risking here, but it's gone up 5 days in a row. I know these days are bigger, but this is a little better, but it's still sort of channeling up, right? Just sort of like a stairs up. So it's only now that you sort of have, it's kind of a channel, but it's also coming down, and you're getting a sort of rebound option. You're also getting this moving average catching up to these moving averages. So that's another indicator that a lot of people look at, and a reason why this could move up. As for the Army contract, well, if we look right here, this is the 22nd. So that is right about here. The market as a whole was red that day, so it's not super surprising. AVAV was red as well. You have that contract, and now the market's turning up. So you have a fundamental reason, you have a chart opportunity developing, you have these moving averages converging, and sure, this thing, here's the elephant in the room for a lot of these stocks, is this is a 200-day moving averages screen line. This stock is 80% up, so it's like 12 times how much it moves on a daily basis, the daily range on average, from that level. So it's actually more like 16 times. I don't do public math, but it's a lot, right? So if you look at some of its peers, KTOS, sort of similar, maybe slightly less predictable, like when it's just ramping up day after day after day after day. It's really hard to position or sort of invest in a company like this because you don't know when that's going to end, and it's not as predictable. This is someone accumulating shares, whereas when we look at AVAV, it didn't look exactly like that. I mean, it kind of did, but I mean, it still has some breakout behavior where compresses, boom. Everyone agrees that it's worth more. So that's kind of what we're looking at, some compressed days, and then boom, a move up. So that's probably enough looking at these charts before we actually look at what this company actually does. So here are its competitors. KTOS is the Valkyrie jet maker. Another big one is RCAT, which does small UAVs. RCAT, I said I wasn't going to look at the charts, but I just can't help it because they actually show the buying and selling on them, the supply and demand. RCAT also has had some euphoric moves, but it's also just like a channel, to the upside. So could it stick on here and bounce off here? It could, but it's not as simple in my eyes as this AVAV, which sort of had a change in character here after this earnings when it turned up. You know, breaking that downtrend. And then here, it looks like we got another change in character, however you want to draw the lines. It doesn't matter exactly where the lines are. I don't even like to draw lines that aren't horizontal for the most part. I'd prefer you draw lines that everyone can see. So here's a horizontal line, right? Somewhere in here. You basically see what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to make this more complicated than it is. It went up, it went down, and then it pretty much went sideways. So you can buy with risking 10 bucks or something, 82 to 72, something like that, and then make 10, 20, 30, whatever it is. So that's AVAV, and we'll run away from the charts again for a little bit here. So here's the deal. These are the other companies. They've also had euphoric big moves recently. Not as predictable as AVAV in my opinion, but that opinion could change week by week. There's also big large cap companies as well. Also, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. Would it be great if these companies were turning up and doing well? It would be great, but they're so big that I kind of think of them as like the Pfizers and the Mercks. So even if Pfizer and Merck and Novo Nordisk aren't doing well, that doesn't mean you can't find an ALNY or an RTYM, or YTM, to still have some breakout opportunities, even when the big companies aren't doing really anything interesting. You know, NTLA, another one in the CRISPR space that I've been talking about, that looks like it's poised to go. So AVAV, despite what Lockheed Martin and Boeing are doing, Boeing's actually, I mean, it is up 80% since August lows, but in the last 6 months, it hasn't done much of anything. AVAV still is interesting. Now, what else about AVAV? Department of Defense agreement is definitely big. And then this $100 million Army agreement is most important right now. But what's interesting is this Army agreement didn't really move the stock. So, as I said, you know, it is nice to have a fundamental catalyst, but also it's possible that this was priced in. It's a little weird that it didn't move at all, right? Maybe it was completely known to almost everyone. And so the sell the news was very much a sell the news. It's hard to exactly compare it to the market, but we can't exactly compare it to the market. So this is what the market did. Green, 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 red, green, green. And you can see this red went below the first screen, you know, in the last 5 days. And then, so it's pretty similar. AVAV is pretty similar to the market. So interestingly, though, back on this day, AVAV didn't barely budge at all when the market actually cratered. So it could be, if we look at some of its peers, KTOS had already sold off, so that's not a great comparison. But what was the other one? AV, KTOS, and oh yeah, RCAT. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot that. This one did sell off with the market, so they kind of follow the market, kind of disconnected. It's hard to exactly say. These are sort of mid-cap companies trading like $100 million, a couple $100 million a day, and then an AVAV case, definitely in that few $100 million. Pretty liquid, so definitely nice to have the most liquid one of those three. At least definitely more liquid than RCAT setting up. Doesn't exactly follow the market, as we can see, so it's possible some of this selling was delayed from this market chop, and It's just how what happens is people see that their portfolio gets cut, and then they're like stopping out all of their stocks, and then they might even have to get rid of some positions that they didn't even stop out of just to free up some cash. So that's might have been what would happening here, even as the market went up. It's not exactly clear. It doesn't totally matter. All we can really say is that this looks great. It's setting up. And a lot of other speculative names, the irons, well, this is kind of recovering because it was so euphoric. It's hard to see at this. Now it's clearly clear how euphoric what this was and how much it unwound. Gold, even, gold recently unwound, which took months for that to finally happen. But a lot of speculation names, quantums being the poster child for the unwind, did so. And so AVAV unwinding a little, not super surprising. It had been up a lot. And pretty much setting up again for a big move is super exciting. So that's the idea. If you like these ideas, hit that like button or say hi in a live stream. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe. And if you want to take advantage of our make $1,000 in 90 days in stocks or your money back guarantee, click that join button. Try it out. Head over to stockscommunity.com. You can see some of our superstars results there. And I will see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.